Dr. Johra? You have to unmute Dr. Johra.
Yes. So, see my screen, sir?
Yeah, visible.
Okay. So, first of all, good afternoon and good evening to all our renowned panel and the participants. Myself, I'm Dr. Johra Khan. I'm Associate Professor for Biotechnology in College of Applied Medical Sciences, Majma University, Saudi Arabia. And I'm also Head of Voice of Innovation in WRW. It's a pleasure for me that Dr. Krishnan has given me this opportunity. I'm also Editor-in-Chief for SciComm Journal of Medical and Applied Medical Sciences. Now, with all these, I'm also a special educator. I had a B.Ed in special education. So during my studies also, and during all these, my career of teaching, a lot of connections and communication has happened between me and special needs children, which encouraged me to take up a project related to them, which can help them better to survive in this society. So as you know, we are taking up a project that is technology enablement for special needs children. So the background, if I, as I have also explained in the project details, so there are around 240 million children around the world who have some kind of disability with them. Some have medium, moderate, or some have severe disabilities. So these disabilities are from different types, like some are mentally have disabilities, some physical disabilities, learning disability. So there are types of disabilities. Now, these disabilities are causing and hinder, they are hindering them to be a part of society, to communicate with the society, to survive in the society, to get mixed up with the society. At the same time, the parents of these children also have a lot of challenges that they are facing. So as per WHO reports, also 2022 reports, these children, like half of them, even more than half of them, if you talk about the developing countries, they are not able to enroll even to schools. So they're not getting their basic education, the basic requirements that they need, it's not fulfilled. So my aim, if you see the aim of this project, so the aim of this project is initially to develop an app, which is an AI application app, where we want this app to be available to all the parents of these special need children, to the NGOs, to the government, so that we can provide them a one-stop solution for all their problems. So if it is related to their education, if it is related to their medical requirements, if it is related to their employment, if it is related to any other, like suppose there is a child and special need child and the parents are no more. They are no more with them. So how they can take care of themselves. So this is the aim of this project. And we are taking up this project proposals for review today with our panel. Rest is to Dr. Krishnan.
Prof Krishnan, you are muted.
Thanks a lot for prompting. Next I'm going to introduce the experts so that we'll get to know the level of requirement which this project demands, and we'll go ahead with the project team further with it so that we go on for real implementation support. Now, hope you people can see my screen. Can someone prompt?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's AI application for special needs children. Okay, there was a lot of debates prompted, let us not call it as special children, we'll call it as special needs children. So I'll also change my, talk towards it. See, the first person we are going on board with expertism is Dr. Nooraini Yusuf. She's from Malaysia, University Malaysia, Kelantan. She's Associate Professor, Department of Data Science, a well-renowned researcher come implementer in projects of these kinds. She has a BSc from Information Technology in Artificial Intelligence Specialization, MSc in Intelligent Systems from UUM, and PhD from University of Surrey, University, United Kingdoms, on computational neurosciences. She has more than 15 years experience in AI, data analytics, machine learning, and systems integration. Involved in AI and data analytics projects on flood disaster management, Ministry of Higher Education graduate data analysis project, and many such things, including effectiveness and relevance of ICT programs at Malaysia public universities. She has done a lot of researches on telecommunication fraud detection, agriculture data analytics projects, etc. A renowned person with a lot of publications in national and international journals and conferences, and a reviewer of more reputable journals related in this field. Welcome you, ma'am, to this event. Next is Dr. V. Rajini, Professor Electrical and Electronics Engineering, Head of the Department from SSN University. She is a great advisor, graduate mentor, and accomplished researcher. And she's now involved in NBA, NAAC, and NIRF activities. She's appointed as Margadarshak by AICTE for mentoring other institutions. She has a lot of publications in IEEE, IET, Elsevier, Wheely, and Taylor and Francis. She has also authored 2 books, one on electrical machine design and electric motor drives, completed 3 government-funded projects from Government of India, and is executing currently 2 more funded projects. She has 2 patents to her credit, and she has featured in many of the newspaper search on scientists who have done wonders in the field of electric field, pulsed electric field. She has graduated more than 30 PhDs and 36 PG students. Welcome you, ma'am, to our board. Next, we have Professor Rena, eminent professor of economics, now serving the Northwestern University, South Africa. Is also an adjunct professor at Monarch Business School, Switzerland. Previously, Professor, United University of Western Cape, Cape Town, South Africa. Served as Professor and Coordinator, Joint African Masters Program, JAMP, at Namibia University of Science and Technology. Was Head of Economics at the Papua New Guinea University of Technology at Papua New Guinea. Chairman of Panel of Judges for Economics of Global Undergraduate in Dublin, Ireland. He has wrote 10 books and published more than 120 articles in national and international journals, more than 150 articles in newspapers and magazines and websites, and presented 30 papers in national and international conferences and seminars. Even today, he has been in a UK program, and after that, he is joining us today. Welcome you, sir. Next, we have Dr. Saifullah, Assistant Professor, Computer Science, University of Hyderabad, Telangana. He did his master's from Indian Institute of Technology, Madras, which is a premier renowned university in India. He did his PhD from Anna University. He worked in various research and development of top software organizations for more than a decade, and was part of innovative product development. That is the feature which he brings onto our table. He's an expert from network traffic, data center, SDN, NDN, and quantum communications. He had previously worked with the TNET group of IIT Madras, NMS Works Software, Tata Elxsi. He was in the data center of Cisco Systems. He has contributed in national and international conferences, innumerable publications to his credit. and he guides masters and PhD researchers. Welcome you, sir, to this board. We have Dr. Dickson Adam, a lecturer from the Department of Innovation and Science and Technology, Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Ghana. He is into more than multidisciplinary. This is called as pluridisciplinary fields. He is a recognized scientist of Roof Forum, Young Scientist 2090, honoring of a covetous award onto the young and dynamic scientists in Africa. He has many benchmark works, of which one, to be more prompt, is the innovative traditional strategy for biodiversity conservation, which engages local communities and utilizes the rich indigenous knowledge systems. He completed his postdoc with a grant from DAAD and from German Ministry of Economic and Cooperation Development. He has published a lot in Sage, Taylor Francis, Springer, Elsevier, and many others. He's a certified Publon academic mentor and a diamond level author at Ezines USA with 60 journal publications, more than 10 book chapters, and over 200 e-articles. Welcome you, sir. Thank you all for joining us in this team of project evaluation. We wish you people to guide us and take us through further. Now the forum is open to the project proposal, the project team, Dr. Sharmila Gupta and Priya.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Prior to starting with my slides, I would like to remember today Mr. Stephen Hawking, who was, who had sclerosis, and therefore he had used speech generating technology in which computer software translates whatsoever every keyword strokes are translated into a synthesized voice. What makes him different here is the keyword strokes were done by only 2 fingers and with his cheek movement. And also, it's like way back in 1988, I'm talking, I mean, whatever I'm showing here. In addition, the software includes autocorrect where he needs to type few letters and it prompts the word or the, whatever he wants to say. Now, with giving this as an introduction where we knew that technology had played a huge role, I know from the time that Stephen Hawking was famous, okay. So now that we are in a much advanced stage, we think that it can play a much better role for our for our children, okay, and children especially who are into education are not able to be at par with his peer groups, where he is facing lots of social stigma. For these students, if technology can really play a role, I think we are blessed in that way. Myself, Dr. Sharmila Sengupta, I am Associate Professor in Vivekanand Education Society's Institute of Technology, Maharashtra, India. And my colleague and dear friend, Professor Priya Aral, from the same institute. We are going to take you further into what our understanding is regarding this beautiful problem statement which has been given to us. Okay. Now, I like to wish all this members present here in this meeting, as well as everybody around the globe, to celebrate today at the 3rd of December, which is the International Disability Day. And what a nice day to even present any kind of support group or any kind of support AI app for these kind of children. Because we believe it's your right to live with dignity. And yes, you can. So instead of calling special children, I and Priya think like, let us call them gifted children, because every child is gifted. They just unwrap their packages at different times. Now that's how we should put it. And these are the contents that you would see through the slides: the introduction, the objectives, literature review, our methodology, and a few diagrams to take you through as how our thought processes go in terms of conceptual and data flow diagrams. Now, myself and Priya, we have been studying about this topic, and though we have not come across such children physically, but few projects we have undergone, but then again, not actually meeting these students. So we required a lot of understanding as to what goes wrong with them, because we hear lots of types, okay? And so while we went through the literature, we found they are broadly classified into four categories. One is physical, which like they have physical deformity, about means movement related deformity, either by birth or maybe due to diseases or accident. Next is sensory, which is broadly into visual and hearing impairment. Then we have development a problem where we say autism, dyslexia, Down syndrome, etc. And there are behavioral and emotional, where bipolar disorder, ADHD, OCD, all these can be included under this category. Now, before going ahead with this, we tried to understand and analyze in broader terms, though, that what are the challenges these children faces, whatever category they belong to, what are the main challenges. The first thing, when a child is either born or in course of time, they develop these kind of problems. First and foremost, there is an impact on the family. And child being a member of the family, all together, they suffer equally, okay? And therefore, the problem is the child along with the members, they suffer social isolation. They isolate themselves instead of going ahead and taking help from support groups. They try to isolate themselves, okay? And this social isolation leads to becomes even further, it gets aggravated when you have locomotion kind of problems, that is physical inaccessibility. You're not even able to stand on your own feet, okay? And then all these things create a much bigger aspects when the society comes in picture, and the society has a negative attitude towards these people. There is lack of awareness into understanding that there are different categories, and each category requires different technical as well as doctors intervention. So lack of individualization takes place, and therefore there aren't enough study materials which are available, or maybe if they're available they are not aware about it. And therefore altogether, these are the broader terms where I think that these children actually faces this kind of severe challenges if they have a deformity. As already said by Dr. Khan regarding the project objectives, I'll not read it out here, but these are the objectives which we are going to, for these objectives, we are going to prescribe our methodologies. Now, before going to these methodologies, we have done this literature review. And for this review, I would take you through this Google Sheet where, with these four categories, as I said, we have taken them. And then if I start with development categories, disabilities, we have understood under it each and every problem, okay? I mean, what are the types, first of all, that is dyslexia, graphia, dyscalculia, and then dyspraxia, autism, and then the cerebral palsy, everything under it. And again, if I go ahead, let me just finish it. We have under physical and sensory disabilities, we have locomotor disability, visual impairment, speech disability. And for this behavioral emotional disability, we have ADHD and bipolar disorder. So these are the main disabilities we have come across, and we have tried to understand, first of all, what are these categories are. And then looking into all of them, we have found some symptoms. And if I say the main symptom, though I should say, is reading, writing. Okay. So when I say reading, writing, not necessarily a particular category has this problem. There may be, some other, I mean, 2, 3 kind of categories. Say for a reading, dyslexia and autism can have a problem with reading. At the same time, dysgraphia and dyslexia can have a problem with writing. Okay. So for all these, we have tried to understand what technical interventions can help them out. Okay. And for all of them, as I say again, depending on our understanding, we have listed few interventions. We also looked into some existing solutions. There are so many applications nowadays available where students are already using it. So we went through all of, I mean, not all of them, but as much as we can, and the references are listed out here, and then we kind of give a proposed solution for each of the problems, say for reading, for writing, for concentration. Okay. And then these last column which says all solutions, then we come across a kind of overall solution for all of them, which is by default it is there. Okay. Like games, assistive technology, interfaces, portable devices, robotic devices, software, and videos. That's how we understand it. And beyond that, goes without saying, internet will play a very big role, because most of them would be using either a tablet, that means a device, which would be internet dependent. Other than that, we can have interactive whiteboards, text to speech to text converters, and then digital editing tools, wizard, thesaurus, assistive devices, and very important, how I gave the example of Stephen Hawking and augmentative and alternative communication, and many are there. And based on all these literature review, we therefore came across this broader points. Okay. So we say the educational barriers mainly are reading and writing and communication. Okay. Apart from that, now comes little heavier barriers, which are like concentration, hyperactivity, focus and understanding, operational memory. If reading, writing, it's okay, they may be having problem with arithmetic, so sense of numbers, thinking and reasoning. And then there are speech impairment, vision impairment, etc. And therefore, the assistive technology can be an audiovisual aid, a specialized app. There may be workshops, yoga and meditation taken online, mind mapping games, everything that they have problem on. And if they are not able to understand the regular way, we can have gamification for those topics. Okay. There can be life stories from which they get rejuvenated. They kind of, garner more energy into learning or into going a particular way. Okay. There can be customized games and videos, there can be braille assistance, audio, augmented reality, virtual reality can play a big role. And of course, there can be huge amount of assistive devices which can also help other than apps. And therefore, they can have AI-based wearable devices also. Coming to our first objective, that is develop an AI app and store data of each child with their special needs. So right here, our understanding is, how do I know that a child is having a special need? So basically, all the stakeholders, the guardian, when I say guardian, because maybe a parent, grandparent, whatsoever. Okay, guardian, the school, the hospital. So under hospital comes the therapist, counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist, speech therapist, all these, whosoever, okay, who is treating that child. For taking all these stakeholders view in point, we would come to know, okay, this child has autism, say. Okay. And therefore, once that particular category is understood by us, then we kind of go ahead for an autistic child. Okay. And therefore, my first point would be a self-test and hospital examination, which tells me clearly what the category the child belongs to. And therefore, understand about the child more from all the stakeholders, which I've already mentioned. And here I can have family, all his peer groups or his school friends, those can also play a role. And after have identified the specific challenge, then we would be going about building an app. So initially our thought process goes this way: we can have some sample solutions which can be we can build on those solutions based on our stakeholders or our knowledge of technical interventions for these kind of people. We build some solutions, show it to them, and then take the feedback, and then kind of this repetitive process goes, and unless we are quite convinced, yes, they are helping these kind of children. Next comes one-stop solution. Though Dr. Khan mentioned that the solution should be provided from all categories, okay, but we took this topic related to education only. And therefore, here we think the stakeholders, as I mentioned, as well as with them, the universities and the schools will play a big role, okay? And of course, as I have said, there are so many ways we can do it. Gamification, text to speech, speaking aloud, speaking to oneself. There are many ways we can do that. And all these techniques can be handled very well with machine learning, because we can have, with the level of the child, we can have games played at different levels, assessment, learning, everything can be machine learning or AI based. Okay. So basically, once the category, that is the autistic, is understood from our previous survey, what we do is now for that autistic child, we understand what all problems this child has. If it is reading, writing, and concentration, for each of them, therefore, we find out what assistive technologies and how AI can help them out for their guidance. Okay. Not now, but then in future, we can also think that its CAP can provide training to the parents, educators, and caregiver as well, because with once the app goes into full swing, once they are put to use, there would be lots of stories which can be shared, and if one child gets benefited through our app, that particular methodology can be applied as training to every stakeholder. From here, I would like to show our earlier project where we had pitched with this pitching video here, and so please bear with me.
Dr. Sharmila, is there no voice to this video?
Yeah, the voice is there. You couldn't hear it?
Yeah, we could not. We could only see the subtitles and the picture.
Okay, Dr. Krishnan, I think I will not waste time on that in that case.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so
You can share it later
coming,
also. We can share it to the
yeah,
experts. Yeah.
yes. And they are these coming to the next, that is awareness and updates about government policies and facilitate them for the child. Okay, for this we would be now this is country specific, area specific, so depending upon the child in belonging to which particular country. Okay, so and what are the policies and acts for those that particular country, what whether there are free education, where there are laptops or tablets being given away at lower prices, whatsoever it is. So that can be these facilities can be updated in the app, and it can connect to the API so that any changes take place automatically. Those changes are visualized by the guardian or the children. And then there are some free solutions which I mentioned by the government, which can be very well help the rural children. So especially during pandemic, these rural children have been affected very much. So these government acts would play a very big role for their education. Next is providing caregivers data in a particular region. Apart from the parents, caregivers are the second helping hands for these children, and they play a very big role. So, as I said, that there can be in future caregivers training also. But then, suppose there is a already trained caregivers from trusted sources. Okay, they can register into our app and give their personal as well as experiences, etc. They can give their specializations in handling a particular group of children, and therefore this app would be a complete they have the database of these kind of caregivers, and that would be location based. So if wherever I am, I can look into like who are the caregivers who are available around me. And there can be blogs given by these caregivers so as to be where they can give there is like previous experiences if they have handled such children and how they have benefited through their care. Okay, and here I would like to show you a sample GUI which we had already created for a telemedicine app which we were preparing earlier. So if you can see here, this is our thought process where a caregiver will sign up with their mobile number verified by their OTP, and then they would give their personal details over here, and therefore they would be to authorize them, they should be given their government ID card, upload the image of the ID card. They will give their professional details, upload their records, work experience. Therefore, they confirm that they abide by what they have said, and therefore they would be given some ID by us, where that can be used for future communication. Next, coming to the next objective, which is school and hospitals data and services information. So again, like caregivers, we can have a repository of location-based schools, what services they provide, details of hospitals, specialized services for these kind of children in the hospital, doctor information, second opinion option. Okay, so again for this, I will show you a hospital GUI which we have created, where we had the hospital would be with their details and their accreditation details. They would be classifying them as to what kind of providers they are, with their registration number, with their uploaded scan copy of the registration, their address, and that means all location details, their numbers, website, and here again the contact dex, the ambulance number, any alternative therapies if they are providing other than this allopathic. Okay, and then the facilities that the hospitals have, etc. And here, since we are preparing our telemedicine app, we have these kind of specialities. For our app here, we can have specialities for like, locomotive behavioral speciality, or this what you call speech impairment speciality. So all these, so autism, this dyslexia, etc., then come under these specialities over here for the hospitals. Now, after this, there is a one-stop solution for the information and support in case of caregiver loss. What we understand over here is like, if a child is under the care of a caregiver, and, either he or she being absent, or else anything goes wrong with that person, okay? So we can't leave the child alone. So what we think is, in this app, per child, we would be having location-based 2-3 caregivers already allocated to that child. So any day, or any, the caregiver is absent, or else, they are not, for some reason, they are not pursuing with the a particular job, they can, we can assign the next caregiver we have already allocated for that particular child. Also, if a child is single-handedly handled by the caregiver without the presence of parents, we are thinking we can have monitoring of the attendance of caregivers on a daily basis through our app, and a notification given to the newly assigned caregivers in case one caregiver is not coming on a particular day. From here onwards, Priya ma'am will be taking over. So over to you, Priya.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon and good evening to you all. Myself, Priya, working with Computer Engineering Department of Vivekananda Education Society's Institute of Technology, Mumbai, which is in Maharashtra, India. Thank you, Dr. Sharmila ma'am. I would like to continue with the conceptual diagram of our proposed solution along with the detailed diagram. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, Priya.
So just to give an overall idea about our proposed solution. So what we considered is like our main stakeholders. Let us consider, let it be the admin or hospitals, government, NGOs, caregivers, and the schools. Here we have considered the parents, guardians, or the caretakers. They all considered within the group of caregivers. And by considering these 6 main entities of our entire project, so we have identified the major processes which can satisfy the important objectives of the proposed project. The first and most important thing is like we need to extract the information, the specific data about each and every child who is need a special need of the education or other support services. So here the first thing is like how we can extract the special children characteristic data. In detail, I'll be explaining it in the further diagram. And then all this data, whatever the data that has been retrieved or which has been collected via questionnaires or using the self-examinations or the hospital examinations, everything which will be stored in the master database and which will be then retrieved, or we can make it in a slave database and which can be used for each and every processes. And the second most important thing, based on this data that we have extracted from the various entities, we would like to identify what type of disability that this particular child is undergoing. So how we are going to identify it, again, the AI techniques which will be applied. And along with that, it is not only the AI technique. I want to mention that it's based on whatever the data that has been collected, which will be approved or certified by the health expert, and then which we will be used for the further process. And once that is done, then the most important thing is, according to our interpretation, we thought that we have to give a proper educational support to such type of kids, children. So let us make an AI-based system for the education. So what we are going to, what we planned it over here is we can build an ontology-based, knowledge-based system. So what do you mean by ontology-based? This is similar to your database system. But the thing is that we will define the various entities along with their hierarchies, and we also define the various properties, and we'll create the instances for each and every entities. And that will help us when we, that is especially in any kind of intelligent or the expert system, this will help us to retrieve the information. And even for every, as ma'am explained in the literature review, if I consider development disability kids, or whether it is a behavioral or the emotional kind of kids, then in that case, different learning tools are required for them. Some may be suffering from that, they will be having, say, for example, dyslexia is there. Okay, so they face a difficulty in reading. So how we support, what type of learning material will support such type of child? Okay, so we have to identify using the AI-based solution, which will provide the required learning resources from the knowledge base, that is ontology-based knowledge base that will be given to that specific type of child, that is to the all the entities. Say, for example, if the parent is teaching that particular particular kid, or if the school teachers or the educators are educating them, then what type of educational, learning resources may be required. So this all which will be considered in the third important process. And then, which is not only that, okay, the thing is being educated to that particular, we are giving multiple trainings using different tools to those children. Then we need to analyze how he or she is progressing it. So we need a interactive dashboards, as well as for every type of requirement, we need a location-based service. Suppose if I'm looking for a caregiver, or as a parent, if I'm looking for a particular school so that I can take admission for a child, then all the location-based services and the interactive dashboards, that is one of the important process that we have defined it. And along with that, the most important process which we feel is about the awareness model. That is every policy, the government policies that has been implemented for the specific disability child, which should reach to that particular community without any difficulty. So with that, so we will build an AI-based awareness model. So what we are planning to do is here, either if there is a existing system with the corresponding government, then we can integrate along with the existing government application, or that is via the APIs, or what we can do is we'll build a admin interface. So through that, like as and when we get the new policies that has been informed, that has been intimated to a particular disability child, then immediately that should be identified by the system, and it will be notified to the corresponding child's stakeholders, that may be their parent or maybe the caretaker. So this is the entire process. That is just an overall idea. And followed by this, I would like to explain about the detailed flow of the entire project proposal using the data flow diagram. So I have just depicted here the 3 different levels. So starting from the lower level, that is a context diagram, or the level 0. So here we have mentioned all the major input and output entities who are involved into this particular system. So if this is our system which can provide a technology enablement for our gifted children, then there will be interactions among this all the various entities. So in detail, I'll explain it in the next slide. So here, as we have explained about the most important objective is, first we need to collect the student. That is why I mentioned student over here is because we are focusing mostly on education part. So instead of the special child, we have just represented that child as a student over here. Actually, we are targeting for the our gifted children community. So here the student interface, that is first thing is how we are going to collect the data. It can be either via the questionnaire generation or the kind of analysis, or it may be the examination that has been conducted at the hospitals. So all these things which will be then finally verified by an expert who's there in the hospital, and it will be updated in the data storage, that is the verification report. So we have the data storage in the hospitals as well. So with this, what we can do is, this can be accessed by the other processes which has been taken care of by other entities. And then followed by this, we have the student interface, which has been communicated by the parent or the guardian entity. So they will be able to give the information about a particular student, I mean the child, or even if they want to look for a particular child, that is for his child, the specific kind of schools or the hospitals, then he can fire the query over here, and then it will be connected with the hospitals, and based on the location-based GPI services, it can be retrieved over here. And similarly, if there is any policies that is being defined, then in that case, the government entities, that is whenever the policy is being implemented, so that should be extracted via the API as we are integrating with the existing system, or the other alternative method as I explained it before. So via that, it will be immediately notified via the student interface. And similar way, say for example, if I'm looking for a caretaker, then I can find out the nearby NGOs, and then I can get the service via the NGOs, and which can also be notified. And similarly, if the student is admitted in a particular school, then whatever the progress, the analysis of each and every child, which will be evaluated, like the interactive dashboard that will be generated, and its progress report can also be viewed by the student interface, that is by the parent or the guardian. So in addition to this, the admin, if they want, they have the complete management of this entire, all the other stakeholders things. Say, for example, if I have to include some trusted organization, NGO, or the agent which are providing the caretakers, then those are things which has been, which can be considered or managed by the admin person, or even the other informations or the reports which can be managed by the admin. So in more detail, if I have to explain this, so here you can see the student characteristic data. So whatever that is the questionnaires and the analysis on all the AI-based student disability identifications. So this two process that is done, and then it will be verified by the expert by the hospital interface, and then it will be updated in our master data storage, which is a student characteristic data, which will be used by each and every entity for their analysis. And similar way, the NGO, they can also process the request, and they can assign the specific caretaker from wherever the request that has come from a particular parent or the guardian. And similarly for the government regarding the policies and these things. So as soon as it has been implemented, so we can extract those information, and which can be notified to the corresponding parent or the caretaker via the student interface. Similarly, the school's interface also will have the school data storage in order to maintain, I mean, manage the complete school related information about each and every child over here. And if you remember that I have explained about the ontology based study tool storage, because this is like if we have a content of learning materials in our knowledge based storage, which we can implement it based on the ontology based method. And this will help us to retrieve the personalized learning resources based on the particular child's disability and how he or she is processing. So based on all this developmental disabilities or the identified one, we can retrieve the specific learning materials. So, and then that can be provided to the corresponding child, and which can be assessed by the guardian or the other caretakers as well. Similarly, we have all the reports which can be handled by the admin person. So we have a separate storage for all the reports as well. So this is about the overall, the flow of our entire project proposal. So starting from how we are retrieving the data about each and every. So the registration is required from every entity or every stakeholders, whether it is a parent or any kind of caretaker, or whether it is a school or hospitals or any kind of NGOs or the government organization, they need to register so that we have the complete storage about all the informations. And then applying our AI-based technique, it is easy for us to do the customizations or the personalizations for that specific child. And finally, the report can be given to those stakeholders. And these are the proposed infrastructure which we proposed. The basic, actually, we can consider about AWS cloud storage, which can be more secure and safe. And along with this, we need to have a location-based support. So we need a location-based services, email notifications, the VM instances, and the data storage. And along with that, most important thing is all the policy management, the project management tool. And for developing the mobile app, then we need some frameworks for the mobile app like Flutter, though it is open sources, but we can use either React Native or Flutter. So these are the proposed softwares or the tools that we propose. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Sharmila and Priya. Now let's go with the experts. Okay. Dr. Nooraini Yusuf, can you share your feedback?
Dr. Krishna and to the team. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation.
No, hold on.
Yes,
Mrs. Priya, can you unshare yourself?
Yes, sir.
Now we can see Dr. Nooraini Yusuf.
Okay, hi. Thank you for the presentation to the team. Okay, I can find quite some good points from this proposed idea, but I think I want to propose a few additional points to make the proposal more valuable and more of publishable quality, if I may. Okay, so I'm not sure how long this project is proposed to be done, because I see the scope is pretty huge here, because most of the parts require data collection, but I'm not sure, how do you plan to do that? Is it phase by phase, or it seems like like a long-term project? Okay, and okay, that is my first point. And secondly, from my point of view, I would like to know more on the AI elements that you are to propose. Okay, you have been saying like you want to use machine learning, ontology, decision support system. I would see more details in that, because there's lots of data involved here. So I'm not sure whether you're going to collect new data or what types of data that you have already have in hand. Okay, and yeah, you have listed though some of the infrastructure that you may going to use. Okay, but is the hardware already there? Do you need to have extra hardware, extra settings of the resources? Yeah, I also would like to know about that more, because yeah, it also reflects in your budget, whether you are reinventing. I mean, do you really need a new total technology, or there are some that you can just reuse any existing one? Okay, and I would like also to know further on your team. Okay, do you have enough skills to do that? How many members do you have? Who are they? So I would also to know whether you have good team members in order for you to proceed with that. Okay, and the rest, yes. My biggest concern is the scope is pretty huge for me, but I'm not sure how do you going to plan it, right? Because I think major of the works involved with data collection. Okay, and it would also be good to highlight, because you have been reporting on the human assistive technology. So how do you place your idea? Is it a kind of human assistive technology, or it's just like a dashboard or just information system? Yeah, I think I would see this proposal in one big framework, and how do you get this into modules? Yeah, and the rest, yes, that's for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nooraini. Professor Rajini, can you share your views, please?
Yeah. Thank you for your good presentation, Professor Priya and Sharmila. So it is very interesting to understand the scope of this work, and there is no end for, you cannot put a bracket, this is what is your scope of your project, because it requires, as Madam told, a huge data collection is required. And number two, I hope you are trying to address the educational needs of these special children. But there are certain other special needs for these children, such as, say, for example, medical help, hospital stays, their affordability for certain, maybe some kind of a medical test, and they travel, those kind of this one. Apart from educational assistance, we can also, focus on the other requirements of these special or needy children. So in that way, there is no boundary for this project. So whatever is required that can be taken up as a scope for the project. But only thing is, somewhere you had mentioned that everyone in this, every stakeholder has to register for a special children. Instead, if it can, in case of someone is triggering that help, you should be in a position to connect all the other stakeholders and throw them the required information. Instead of, otherwise, if you keep multiple gates, people will be very hesitant to open all these gates and enter. Right? So entry should be single point. It can be that request can be from any one of these stakeholders, and then probably the developer or the admin should take care of connecting them to the various stakeholders. So that would be the better way of improving the scope of this or utility of this product. So that is one thing I wanted to tell you. And the other thing is, maybe the cognitive side also we can try doing something. You can try doing something on the cognitive skill development. What kind of reading material, writing material can, because majorly you're focusing on the special needs, educational requirements. I told you the other aspects of their needs can also be. So that is from my side.
Okay.
It was a good presentation, and very happy to be a part of this forum.
Thank you, Professor. Professor Rena, can you share your feedback, please?
Thank you, Professor Umachandran, and all our esteemed panel members, and also the presenters. Indeed, I'm delighted to be part of this particular expert panel, and the presenters, they have really shared their thought-provoking ideas with some relevant frameworks that they could able to adapt to solve some of the problems. And I think I do agree with my colleagues, Professor Professor from Malaysia, Nooraini, and also Professor Rajini. They just spoke for some of the pertinent issues that I would like to also raise. But in addition to that, this is a very pertinent issue as we are celebrating this particular day as a special day, 3rd of December 2022. If you look at the world, just to give you some overall idea, probably our colleagues must be knowing very well about these things. Just to give some kind of idea, we got about 650 million people across the globe that are specially abled. We cannot say they are disabled, but they are specially abled. And when it comes to African continent, we got more than 60 million people, and that are also being specially abled. And when it comes to Indian situation, we got close to 30 million children, and from 30 million children, more than 3 million children, they are out of school. So this is a very, very useful and very good initiative from you and from our organization, Professor Umachandran. And I think we need to probably in the long run, we need to work together hand in hand without fixing any kind of boundaries, as Professor Rajini also explained very clearly that
We are losing connect with you, Professor Rena. Rena, can you please, hear us? Hear me talking? Professor? Okay. We'll go with the next person. There could be network issues. Dr. Saifullah?
Yes, sir.
Please. My apologies. I think.
You have come, Dr. Rena. Yeah, continue, please.
Yes, I had some connection issues. My apologies for that. So that is, although in the project proposals, we need to focus more. What our colleagues, Priya and other colleagues would like Sharmila would like to focus, that has to be determined. And, the scope has to be determined very well. Of course, they both spoke about education side, but if they are within education, what exactly we want to do? What are the research questions we would like to address? What are the key objectives that we have that should be reflected? And of course, our colleagues mentioned that who are the team members who could able to work in alongside with the project leaders here. And we also need to have some kind of maybe budgetary framework. Is it a very preliminary kind of stage where we are trying to look into budgetary frameworks that we have? So those are some of the things that can be added up to. But other than that, I think colleagues, they need to specify the problem statement. That is what has been clearly not coming up actually. Though they are giving the overall picture and the background, but the specific problem statement that has to be focused upon, that has to be redefined or in a very clear cut manner expressed. So that is need to be addressed. I think otherwise there is a potential for that. And as indicated that we have even especially able people, we have so many people across the globe. What do we call? We have Ellen Keller, and she was also become specially able person at the age of 19 months. And she lost her ears and she lost her eyes. So she became deaf and she became blind. But that didn't stop her. And she is the first lady to complete her bachelor degree with a kind of special abilities or special able characters. So therefore, there is a lot of potential. I can quote, because in the interest of time, I cannot quote some of those people. There are n number of people in our country. That when one gentleman from Andhra Pradesh state, he was being denied to write the intermediate exams or matriculation exams, but he could able to raise himself with his confidence, though he was considered a blind student. And then he went to Harvard, he studied, and now he's running a multi-billion-dollar kind of company. So there are every possibility. So we need to encourage them, and we need to try to pinpoint these project proposals so that we can try to how best we can work together. So I think those are some of my observations, Professor Umachandran ji, and also other. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to Dr. Saifullah. Dr. Saifullah, please.
Yes, sir. At the outset, I am very thankful to Dr. Krishnan Umachandran for the invitation and also the opportunity. And next, the project proposal and also the idea. I'm from the inner heart. I am very delighted to be part of this team, Dr. Johra Khan's idea, because it is not for any business or it is not for the any kind of commercial purpose. It is serving the humanity. I mean, it is a very great idea, and also spending money for this purpose. I mean, she'll not only get the reward here and hereafter also. So yeah, I mean, I'm just a few words. I'm saying I'm not a big person to say all those things. Coming to the presentation. In fact, it is a good presentation. In the proposal, clearly it was given that proposal submission. I can share that the time period supported support required and cost implication. The time period is missing, and support required. What kind of support is required or cost implications are missing out, and project team size and members. These are I am reading out from the project proposals invitation, whatever was already given. So these are the things, and also because this is a universal application, it has to have the GPS or the location services. How you identify the student or the specially abled student, where he belongs to, which country he belongs to. That country related government policies or whatever, it has to come. So a user interface, if you can give, I mean, the DFDs and the some kind of architectural details are given. If the user interface is given, that will be very informative. And the milestones and deliverables, because which time, I mean, this is very important, because the which time this month this is being delivered. This is the, so my milestones are missing and deliverables are missing, and also the kind of the hardware requirements or the software requirements. Few of the software requirements are listed out, and hardware requirements like these many systems are required, or these many IoT sensors are required, because when you are saying these sensors are going to collect the data, so what kind of hardware you need to complete this project. So the those hardware details are missing, and from some of the, I mean, many of the professors have already talked other things related to the open source technology or software applications which are already there. Which are the applications which are going to be used? Because instead of reinventing the wheel, if we can make use of whatever is existing, build upon them, that will reduce the time and cost. So, and also from the government policies, I mean, as the proposal came from Indians, and I am also an Indian. So I'm talking about the types, the disability types. If you go to the RPWD 2016, rights of the persons with disabilities 2016, it will tell you what are the government recognized disability types. As you are talking about hearing loss, or the visual disability, or orthopedic, or locomotor, or learning disabilities, or the locomotor disability. There is multiple disabilities also. So because that will give you the clear picture, I mean, because authentic information. So, but as it is a universal application, it needs to go to the United Nations level, because in United Nations there is a convention. In fact, India also depends on that only, depending on the conventions for the, it is called CRPD, Conventions for the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So it has the actual guidelines, what is required to give the support, or how we need to service these kind of people. So what are their rights? So because as we are targeting the education, in fact, even in education, 5% reservation is there in India. In jobs, 4% reservation is there. And in fact, the collection of the data going to that, the collection of the data, it has to be authenticated. Authenticated as the proposal talked about collection from the government agencies or the recognized NGOs, and or if an individual needs to give the data as the, there are some user interface where it talks about OTP and also Aadhaar information. In India, there is a UID. I mean, in fact, in US, it is different. So every country has a different authentication. So that kind of authentications needs to be used to make the data authoritative or authenticative. And yeah, there are to go to the awareness actually. I'm pointing few things like if there are problems in India, we have chief commissioner for persons with disability at the Delhi in the, I mean, national level. In the state level, there is a commissioner, or there are various scholarships or fellowships. This is to give you the kind of awareness to be given to the students, or these institutes or schools, colleges, universities, which are disabled friendly. And also the policies are from the hardware point. I mean, like whether the Braille books or the other wheelchair kind of thing. I am talking about the tools required, where they are available, because they may not be knowing, student may not be knowing what kind of tools are available and where they are available, what is the cost. So if there are links to these kind of things, that will help them a lot. And yeah, I mean, when it goes to the software applications, because of the assistive technologies, as the proposer talked about this term, assistive technology. In fact, it is a very well-known research topic in the computer science. So assistive technologies, if you see, there are so many open source tools available. So instead of we can actually make use of them. So yeah, I mean, in fact, to go to the hospital also, where are the locations where they can get the certificates? Because it is not every village. I mean, it may be a district headquarter in, I mean, I'm talking about my state, or in India, district headquarters, or where they are, because caregivers is different. Certificate getting is different. So to get the certificates, which are the places? So what is the procedure? So all this information, if it is also included, that will help the specially able students a lot. I'm sorry, I have taken little more time. Yeah, I mean, in India, it is the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. So when we say these kind of government departments, are the government departments, are the government places where they can get the help, that will be more helpful as an awareness information. Yeah, thanks a lot. And again, yeah, I mean, from the inner heart, I say a great thanks to Dr. Johra Khan for this initiative, and also to the Dr. Krishnan Umachandran for the invitation. Thanks again.
Thank you, Dr. Saifullah. Dr. Dickson Adam, Ghana, please. Please share your feedback.
Yeah. First, I want to congratulate Dr. Khan for this initiative. an inclusive educator. I applaud her self-sponsoring project, which aims at bringing those with special needs at par to achieve equality in education. I think this project is very good, and I congratulate Dr. Khan for it. And back to the presentation, congratulations to Shamila and Priya for that enlightening presentation or project. In their project, I realized that they have demonstrated commendable understanding of the project and its requirement. And they've also shown deep understanding of what children with special needs, I prefer to call them children with differentiated needs. Yeah, they have shown great understanding of that. And through their literature survey, they've also exposed the gaps in the existing AI solutions for addressing the unique challenges faced by these students with special needs. I think it is commendable. But I have these few things that I want them to include or to revise, as it were, their proposal. First has to do with the timeline. They should give us the timelines for engaging in this project. Let us know the timelines. And also, they have indicated the 5 strategic areas that they want to handle. First, the extraction of data for the special children, the identification of their unique challenges, the AI support systems tailored to education, which I applaud so much because I'm in the field of education, and also the interactive dashboards and the location-based services and the awareness model. They are all good, but I want them to treat it with the distinctive needs that we have, special needs that we have, rather than giving a holistic view of the app. Let us know how you treat each of the individual characteristics you've identified. And also, let us know the number of your team members and their expertise. I'm also interested in finding out the level of knowledge for users. You've indicated that the apps are friendly. That is good. But let us know the level of knowledge to assess the apps. But generally, I think it's a very good project, and I wish you the very best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Dickson. Before we go with Sharmila and Priya to have their feedback, I have a one-liner. Normally, we call in industries as SHE, safety, health, and environment. I want you people to look into this with the user perspective. The user, how safe should they be? How healthy should they be taken? And how their environment should be protected through your app. This is where I want you to look into. Okay, now I open the floor to Sharmila and Priya. Whatever your thinking had been or whatever you want to add on after you made your proposal, you can do it. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Priya, let me begin and then you can continue, please. Okay.
Sure.
Dr. Johra Khan and Dr. Krishnan and all other panelists, thank you very much for such insight into how we should even think about making our statements better. But then we had some query. And the first query is internet will be, do you want, Dr. Khan, that app should be internet dependent, or is if it is not, can it be both? Next is which kind of students are we targeting? Because our aim of understanding how the way we treated the project, we thought we are looking into primary education. Also, the kind of region where the children we are going to address, is it all? We are looking into maybe urban or semi-urban, okay? We are not targeting rural children right now because there may not be internet first of all, and many the availability of caregivers etc may not be possible, okay? Okay, so these are the three assumptions: that internet is there, primary children, region is urban and semi-urban. Okay, thinking into these two, taking these three assumptions, also though we mentioned about assistive technology and assistive devices, we presume that there aren't any assistive devices, okay, because we are making an app. So do you want integration of assistive devices to our app? We are not very sure about it. Though as a solution, we though spoke about assistive devices, but then while making the app, we can't make use of it, because in that case, we would require sensors and IoT, and as we said, so, all these things would be required. The first question, as mentioned by Dr. Nooraini, we have, I think, Priya, we have proposed a 2-year action plan for our project. Okay.
Yeah.
And you has asked us whether you would go all together. No, we would be going piece by piece. As I say, Dr. Nooraini, we are still trying and understand what are the problem areas. And so the data gathering, which will be taken from government hospitals, trusted NGOs, maybe through patent, I mean, a kind of a questionnaire developed with the help of doctors. Those questionnaire, we can take it to the family members, and as well as meet children. Okay, we are thinking of doing that. So that would be our data gathering process, but then we are thinking of taking one category at a time. Though it is said, like it is told to us, that there are some government recognized categories, but then if we are going to handle it globally, we would be taking those categories which are more prominent. Okay, like dyslexia, dysgraphia, autism, dyspraxia, ADHD, the main categories. Also, in the app, to take care of even speech, vision, and hearing impairment and locomotion problems, Dr. Nooraini, it will be very difficult. So, though we presented all those in our Google Sheet as a literature review, right now, we just say that we'll go piece by piece. Right now, we will not go into those kind of physical disorders, rather go for developmental disorders, and that to take one category, understand it fully, apply our solution to that. Okay, let people use it for some time, take the feedback, and if it's going great, then maybe simultaneously, we go for other categories as well. Okay, but yeah, Priya, so can you now for the other points, can you just put some light?
Yeah, so actually in our proposal, we have mentioned in detail about the time period, the time duration, when including the deliverables. I think ma'am was asking about it. Yeah. So it is like a 2 years period of time, the entire development. As ma'am discussed, that it will be stage by stage, starting from the data gathering till the implementation, testing, and deployment of that particular system into the field work. So everything will be stage by stage. We have given that separation of each and every work, what was the duration. That was actually already we have submitted in the proposal. That's the reason it was not added in the PPT. So we thought just the flow of the work can be mentioned in the PPT presentation. Actually, that we have already planned, and it's been already, we have prepared the timeline chart for each and every stage of the entire development life cycle, and which was submitted. So if you want, I can give the clarification based on that document also. And we thought of 10 members actually. So one is quality assurance people will be there, and there will be a project team leader, the team lead person, and there is like for supporting the cloud and everything, like the solution architect is also will be there, and there is one more person for handling the cloud related thing, that is the expert in the cloud, and there are 5 to 7 developers will be there in our team. So this is our total. So that was also we have mentioned in our proposal, what are the different, how many people are required for the development of our project. And as per our interpretation, we thought, let us first focus on the education and how we can provide the solution, because that is a basic requirement. Of course, related to, as Rajini ma'am asked about the health and the other aspects. Yeah, we understand that that is also the most important aspect of such gifted children. So what we thought is, first, we'll provide a primary education to those people, identifying their disability, and the basic requirement is fulfilled. Along with that, of course, while they are in their particular environment, whether they are in the hospital or in the home, sorry, whether they are in their school or in their home, and if they need any kind of health related this thing, then we can provide the location based services for those children, like where to whom they should approach, which is the nearest health center. So those type of solution which can be provided at the initial stage. So as ma'am said very clearly, so we'll go one by one. So let us say, for example, dyslexia or dysgraphia will take one of the main ability, and then we'll start progressing towards that. And similarly, we'll work on the other disabilities. Mainly, we are focusing on all the development abilities and the behavioral or the emotional abilities. As of now, we don't have the plan of supporting for the physical, handling the physical disabilities. And the other questions.
Also, Priya, we had thought about connecting to existing solutions, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, that was a big question in our mind as to, because there are so many solutions available.
So why we need to why we need to reinvent the same thing? So already if it is existing, then definitely through our system, we will propose, okay, so if this person is having this type of, say, for example, in order to build the concentration, okay, so there is a mind mapping tool, the system is already available, which is an open source. So we will provide them through our system. We'll provide those information to the parent or whoever the stakeholders that, okay, so if this is the thing which you are looking for, and then these are the different information. Yes, definitely we will provide those type of information about the existing system. So which we are not going to reinvent it again. I think, yeah, and thank you, Saifullah sir. You have given few information about the government recognized types, that is RPWD. Yeah, we will look into that. This is also actually we thought of, it's like globally, so we just looked out and find out the globally what is the major categories. So accordingly, we have given the distribution.
Also, Priya, we have been asked like how they can gather the certificate, okay, as to, you know, a dyslexic child or autistic child. We are presuming that they come to us with the certificate, isn't it? Okay.
Yes.
Or else, we go about understanding their problem already knowing that he is an autistic child, okay?
Yeah.
If that has to be provided, then we have to, give that, way of getting certificates. So which
Even
hospitals
actually,
provide these certificates?
Yeah, so ma'am had already had an experience. She also worked on certain projects of detection of that particular disability. So she has collaborated with Nair Hospital in Mumbai, and so even the detection. So we didn't thought about those aspects. As of now, actually, as Dr. Johra Khan's project objectives, we thought, okay, let us focus more on educational needs along with the other support, but with the minimal, this is our
depth.
Okay, Dr. Johra Khan, can you give your closure talk, please?
First of all, thank you so much, Priya ma'am and Shamila ma'am, for such a wonderful giving a map for how we are going to work on this one. And I'm very thankful for all the points that has been given by our experts.
You're muted, Dr. Johra.
Okay, so before I give a closure note, there are some things that I want to clarify. Maybe like we had some so clear before. So as Shamila ma'am was asking, like, is it an internet dependent or independent thing? So my focus is like, if I'm saying that there are 50% of children who are not reaching school, okay, that means they are not urban areas, definitely, because, urban parents are quite, they know, they are aware about the situations, urban and semi-urban. So if we can give it independent of internet to the social workers or to the people who are working in villages, at least to identify, so they can say that this is the disability the child is having. Okay, initial to the parents that your child is having this kind of disability, and let them introduce to us. So we can, from there we can take over it. So they can register with the help of social workers. They can register on our app, and we can provide help to the parents to identify, to classify, and if they want support related to getting the certificate, so we can guide them. So you have to go to this particular, your district is coming under them, so this is the office where you can go and collect the certificate from there. Okay. Then of course we will go for educational. So if I'm saying for educational, let us take the bigger categories. Like, if I'm talking about only learning disabilities, a lot of learning disabilities. So let us take one category from learning disability, then blindness, then hearing, then speech. So we have 4 broad with us. So broadly we will start with them. Going into deeper later on, slowly we will go into the deeper parts. So, if there is a child who is blind from the birth, so what should the parent do? We will be able to give them initial start. This is the way they have to follow. Later on, we can go for the detailed ones. So this is one of the things. We can go further for medical help, for help related to caregivers. Then we will go for, employment. So if there is a child who has this kind of education, them to the employers who are hiring, or if there is certain openings from the government related to these kind of disabilities, we can connect to that. So this is the way, like how I'm looking towards it. This is my map that I'm having in my mind. Of course, it is going to take a long time. We have to do, starting introduction, then how is it working? We need feedbacks. So slowly we will go into details. And of course, I need all the support and help from all our panelists from different countries, because I'm targeting worldwide app. So we need help from all of them to understand their country, their needs, their requirements, and possible ways that we can help them. So from my side, it's a big thanks to Dr. Krishnan, who gave me this platform and who motivated me to present this idea. Thank you so much for Dr. Nooraini, Dr. Ravindran, Dr. Saifullah, Dr. Rajini, all of you, so for giving wings to my ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. We'll close the meeting. We'll join again on the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.